So sedative drugs are to raise the risk factor of you harming yourself or anybody else. Unfortunately, because of the amount of people that go through mental health, so for example, if someone's going through a psychotic episode and they have to be sectioned because they're a risk to themselves and the public, they're going to be in a hospital. Now, the medication that they would use on them is a lot of the time either antipsychotic or a sedative that will slow them down, yes, so they're not now a risk to themselves or anybody else. But unfortunately, the support system that they need to understand the mental health, have positive coping mechanisms, and understand their triggers so they don't do it again, there's not enough time for that.
Bismillah, welcome to another episode of The Bridge. Today we have a good brother by the name of Hamza, coming from far away, not from the south side, but mashallah, coming to meet the brothers. Shukran for coming, bro. We appreciate it as usual.
Jazakallah for having me.
And so just get into it with us. Where are you from originally?
Country-wise or area?
Both. What about both?
My mother's from Jamaica. My father's Dominican, which is a Caribbean island but a French colony. I started off my life in Hackney and then moved to Northwest London.
Born and raised UK then, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. First, second generation?
Second. So my mother was born here. Also, my grandmother who passed away in June, she's
the original.
She was born in Jamaica, yeah.
How was life in Hackney then? And what years are we talking like? Well, obviously, don't give out your age.
No, I don't. No. I think this gives up my age, you know.
Yeah.
But I recently turned 40. Alhamdulillah. My first home was number 5, Dymchurch, in a estate called Pembury. I went to Amos Primary School.
Okay, you remember the road and everything, name, door.
I'm good like that with addresses and numbers. I've always kind of been.
No.
Yeah. That's been kind of my thing.
No. How long was you in that area for then?
I lived in a few different places in Hackney and we left when I was around 12. So we moved from Pembury to Stanton Court, which was one room. That was me, my stepfather and my brother and my mother. So literally a room and then a bathroom and a kitchen.
For what, 4 people?
Yeah. So we done that for a few years and then I moved to primary school. I went to Sir Thomas Abney, which is in Stamford Hill. And
that's
then
north, no?
No. It's still Hackney, but it's classed as N6. Yeah, it's like N16. So I went from like.
Is that the bit where you start going into like the Jewish people where they live, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's a very weird area like that.
Yeah. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They don't mingle though.
No, they don't. Really.
They don't mingle at all. They don't mingle at all.
Driven that round.
Their schools are separate.
Okay.
Everything's separate. Like you're not going to be in the same places with them, but you'll see them all on the street.
You mentioned like one room for like 4 people in one room.
Yeah.
In terms, what's the circumstances? Why the circumstances or the difficulties at that particular stage?
I'm totally honest with you, I don't remember. My mother was a cleaner for a long time in her life. While she started studying and doing whatnot. She ended up becoming a drugs counsellor.
Okay.
But And
you mentioned stepdad. Dad was not on the scene.
My real dad.
Yeah.
My real dad lived in Hackney Downs.
Okay.
There was tower blocks in Hackney Downs. I don't think they're there anymore. That was at the top of the road from Pembury. Last time I saw my dad, I was about 10, 11. He walked past me. He's not an alcoholic, not a drug addict, and doesn't have any mental health. I'd assume that he doesn't have any photos of me to know who I was.
That's your real dad.
Yeah, but him and my mother were together for a few years, and when you get older, you kind of think like, we understand females sometimes, and was she difficult, whatnot. But I remember when we moved to Northwest London, my mother used to go to Hackney Downs Fun Fair because a lot of my family are from Hackney and Tottenham. And she phoned the house phone. This was before like when the first mobile came out, so you used to put the whole card in it. You got your SIM card in the card. You push the whole card in it. It was one of them Motorola's. Pull the flap down, lift up the antenna. And she phoned the house phone. I picked up and she put him on the phone. So I know how my mum stays. She saw him, stuck it on him and was like, well, go on. So she gave him the phone and put him on the phone to me. And he just done the usual thing. What's going on? Rare young. And he hit you up. No, and he didn't. But last time I physically saw him was then. He walked past me.
Okay.
That's when you were 10 years old?
Yeah.
And after that, have you seen him?
No, and I'm 40 now.
And
I know he's been married. He's supposedly married with other children, but I don't know boys, girls, ages.
You're the oldest sibling?
Yes. So there's me, my younger brother and sister, which are from my stepfather. And then my mother lives in Jamaica now. She's been out there like 10 plus years. But she adopted twin boys and took them out there.
From here, she adopted them and took them back home. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're Jamaican origin. I must be
Yes,
assuming.
yes. So long story short, one of my sister's close friends went through the foster care system. Her story is different on her own thing, but she was begging my mother to take the kids instead of making them go into care like she did. And you know mothers. Yeah, so she should have been living her own life, to be fair, because she's going to be 60 in May, inshallah. And yeah.
Credit to her,
That's a
man.
lot of credit, 100% to take on someone else's child in essence.
Make dua, she takes shahada, man.
Inshallah, Allah guide her, man.
I mean,
I mean, so okay, go back now. Obviously, because you jumped a lot of steps, even though you was giving it. 12 years old, living in Hackney. How was life like that? Because obviously, Hackney is also not known to be like a nice.
Yeah. So from Stanton Court, we was there for a while. I can't remember how long, maybe a few years. And then I went to Sir Thomas Avenue, and then we moved to another estate in Upper Clapton, also known as Murder Mile.
Why they call it murder? Obviously, I can kind of guess.
Yeah.
Is it actually a lot of murders happening there?
Yeah.
Okay, and I call it Murder Mile.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then, I lived in an estate called Nelson Mandela. That was a decent flat, like 2 bedrooms. So we had like cabin beds, me and my brother, whatnot. This would have
What's
been
a cabin bed? Sorry.
like a bunk bed, but
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
more a cabin, so that his bit kind of looks kind of cool because he's underneath.
Okay,
He's got like
okay. Okay, yeah.
little ladder on the side, and that kind of vibe. So that was a 2-bedroom flat in an estate called Nelson Mandela, which was in the shape of Africa.
okay.
And I lived there until we moved to Northwest London. But then I stayed in Sir Thomas Avenue, finished primary, and I went to year 7 in Tottenham, which was Gladesmore Community School. And then from there we moved to Northwest London.
How did you find education as a young person?
Primary school I really enjoyed. I was active in a good way. Studies, football, all sports, to be fair. I loved sports. Even in my state, we played everything. 4 goals, 2 touch. I used to do roller skating. We used to do roller skating from all the way from Hackney to Holloway Road to play hockey in there, behind Holloway Women's Prison.
Okay.
Then it became BMX riding. We used to go to one dirt track on Seven Sisters. They still got it up there up to this day.
So that's the active playing out days.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays it's a bit more stay in, chilling, watch movies.
But that's because they got things to occupy them to stay in the house. We didn't have things to occupy us in the house. So the mum's like, go outside and you can do your thing.
How was your secondary school then?
Year 7 was good. Football, basketball. I was playing steel pans.
That's in
I
Tottenham,
tried to play
that's in Tottenham.
Yeah, that school was in Tottenham. I tried to play the clarinet, drums, because music was kind of in it's Jamaican culture, innit? So I was active in that school, to be fair. Yeah.
Study wise, done well in studies. What do they call it? GCSEs. Or,
Later on.
Yeah, you
So when I moved to Northwest London, so we moved because my mother went through a lot of domestic abuse from my stepfather. He was fresh out of the army and his mindset was a bit different.
He was in the UK army.
Yeah, but he was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah. He was a bit regiment mode in general. That's just because of how he grew. So all he knows is routine and regiment. But his mindset towards discipline was a bit different. My younger brother is a vegetarian. He's been that way up to this day. He's never eaten meat or flesh or fish. And my stepdad would hide stuff in his food, expecting him to eat it, not knowing at the time that that was the way he was. He'd go to the doctors all the time and they'd be like, no, he's fine. He eats peanuts, this, that, and the third. Like, he gets the stuff that he needs. But he'd let him sit at the table for hours, man.
And not eat.
I laugh now, but it weren't funny at the time, to be fair.
What was he? I don't get it. He was letting him sit. He was letting him sit.
Because he wanted him to. He's thinking like, yo, you're supposed to eat your food. I'm making food for you, eat your food. So he'd hide it in his rice and things like that, and he would just sit there for hours.
So basically, you're not eating meat. That's not normal. Why are you going to be a vegetarian? So basically, that's something. Parents do that, man.
Even disciplining wise, like he would talk to you calmly, and then like.
How was your relationship with him? Because it's your stepdad, but
he was with me before. I say he raised me. You know, he was with me before they were born. Like there's 5 years between me and my brother, and 10 years between me and my younger sister.
Okay, was your relationship cool with him?
Yeah, and until a certain point. So, yeah, man, he raised me, taught me how to ride a bike. My mum taught me how to play football because she used to play for Queen's Park.
Mum used to play for Queen's Park?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
yeah. She's always been very active, man. Yeah. Physically, she's got her own story. She's, she knows what's going on out here fully, you know. Yeah. Her dad was quite a well-known drug dealer, and her brother was involved in bank robberies and armed robberies, and so yeah, she kind of grew up around that life, unfortunately. So she ended up being involved to her own extent, you know. But
so yourself, when you moved now, you moved to northwest London.
Yeah,
you Kilburn, and stepdad's not around now.
No, he ended up going to prison. He got 10 years. He done 5. It was for drug trafficking from another country to here.
Okay.
Yeah, and they kind of gave him the high end of the stick because obviously he was part of the British Army, so it looked bad. You know, and then they tried to deport him after. Long story short, he had his own mental health issues. He tried to kill himself.
Okay.
Yeah, but these are statistics that you fall into, which I can talk about a little later on.
Yeah.
Okay, but when he was going through all of this stuff, he was still living with you?
No. They separated. That's why we moved to Northwest London.
Because of the whole situation?
Yeah, so our first place in Northwest London was a temporary accommodation. So it was just it was somewhere for us to immediately go.
So it got really domestic in essence for you lot to kind of...
Yeah, I think like the last serious incident that I vividly remember, so he had a child outside of the relationship with my mother, and they were wrestling in a passageway, is what it looked like. And she was able to get out at the top, and she fled the flat. And I remember all the man them on the block, and she was just running through the flat, but she was like in a ripped t-shirt. She didn't come home for at least a week.
You lot stayed at the home?
Where am I going? I'm a young boy. Where am I going? And there's no mobiles. I don't know where she's gone. She's got like that one brick phone, but I don't have a phone. Who am I? Like,
yeah. It's not even those days where you can be like, "Mum, where you going?" Or
yeah, you know. So me and my younger brother, we just stayed in the house with him until she made her way back, because obviously she had to come back. You know?
And how was the situation when you lot was with him? It wasn't like he treated you any different?
No. Even the domestic abuse, it wasn't often. But that's just, I think that's their era and culture, you know. 1, him having his own issues. 2, him coming from an army background, then doing whatever he was doing on the road, which I generally don't know how he got money because I was young them time then.
I think it's an important thing, you know, just like understanding where people are coming from, you know, like whether it's parents or grandparents, because they think it's okay. That's the problem. So they haven't been educated to say, look, this is not right. They think it's a norm. Because it happened to them. So that's kind of like I think part of the problem.
100%.
But where, you know what, we've got to make sure the cycle is broken. That doesn't carry on.
No.
This shouldn't be something which is kind of like a norm. Yeah. So for yourself now, okay, like later years, I'm talking about now year 10s and 11s. Yeah. Things start to, what we've kind of like maybe seen with different guests, where the dad is not around.
Yeah.
In this scenario, the stepdad's not around. You're kind of like becoming an adult male, you're 16, 17. Did you make the right choices year 10, year 11, or after school?
No, it was too late for me way before then.
Okay.
When I first got to Northwest, I was in temporary accommodation. I was out of school for a while because remember I'd left Gladesmore Community School, come to Northwest, but it was an immediate thing because we needed to leave that area. It wasn't by choice, like, oh, mum's found a new place, let's go live here. Like, she's shipping herself out to get away from her man, you know? So when we got there, I was out of school for a few months. I was going back to Hackney every day, just going back to my estate, because I don't know no one here, you know? And then my odd friend would come up and chill with me up my way. And then we'd like walk the high road, found a park, and that's how I met friends through playing football. The first school I went to in North West London was Whitefields. And I think I started there in year 8. And then from there, I went to Hampstead School. And I stayed there until I finished school. Regarding decisions I made, 12, 13, was probably doing little things that you wouldn't really see. Like, you just think it's kind of just normal, naughty kind of kid stuff, you know?
Like?
I've never been a thief in the aspect of like burglary or things like that. So like robbing people, should we say? Yeah, never women, but like yeah.
Still had some morals there, yeah.
Yeah, from that era, isn't it? You know, we protect women.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, so like that, you know, sometimes like these days now, a man would run into somebody's house, attack the mum, attack. There was, you know, like some morality back in the day. Look, that person's not connected.
Yeah,
mum would probably still respect the guy's mum, even though he's kind of like got a problem with the guy. You know, there was, alhamdulillah,
I've
some
had
down.
issues and seen a guy, and I've been with my mum, and he'll give me the look like to say, "Yeah, I see you," but there's a mutual line of respect.
You're with your mum.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. That's you know, at the time I don't know him like that to think he might, but I think it was a different era where certain things were, you know, and we're young still, you know, but yeah.
Also, you know, somebody sent me a clip. It's like Michael Jordan. What's the other guy? I forget his name, but he's a basketball player, NBA, retired.
Okay.
So Michael Jordan's kind of like era. And they had this thing on court. He's actually hit Michael Jordan with a ball. And Michael Jordan, look, I'm going to get this. And they've had a little thing on court.
Yeah.
But the mums have phoned.
I heard about that. I think it was on the documentary, wasn't it?
Documentary.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Said, you know what, look, what are you doing? You know, behave yourself. You can't be doing this.
Yeah.
And his mum's phoned him and so on. They said, okay, if the mum is saying this, you've got to respect this.
Yeah, it made them squash it. Yeah, I remember
That's it.
Yeah. That era. Yeah, that kind of era.
It was the other team though. So Michael Jordan on one side and who was the other one? No, it was Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, you're right.
Shaquille O'Neal, that's it. And who was the other guy?
What's that?
Who's the other?
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal and Michael.
No, not Michael. I think it was Shaquille.
It wasn't
not Michael Jordan.
It wasn't Kobe, was it? It was
It wasn't Kobe. It was another one.
I do remember this part of the documentary. Though. You're right. Yeah, I do
Shaquille
remember.
O'Neal and that other. Yeah,
The parents got involved.
Yeah,
the mothers.
Yeah.
The mothers got involved.
Yeah,
So
and
that
let them
kind of like
squash that.
generation of respect and so on.
100%.
Yeah, but I think like the same, like in anything in life, that as the years go on in any country, there's a degeneracy about society. That's just a natural state of life, I think.
Yeah.
That things usually start off good. Even if you go, like we spoke about before, when you talk about the whole Crips and Bloods, and we talk about Tookie Williams, and because I read his book, and we were reading it, and you just think when it started with such goodness, like, yeah, this is my local area, and I'm not going to let nothing happen, and but then slowly the degeneracy kicks in, and you're starting to take certain drugs, and you're shooting your own people, and do you get what I'm trying to say? So that's just the nature of human beings. I think that nothing ever stays consistent. It doesn't necessarily get always better. Majority of the times, things usually just get worse. So gangs from those times to now, and even
Remember this?
before
How
even
did it
that
start
time.
off? The
in
members
America.
of the Bloods and the Crips started from where?
America, you're talking about?
Yeah, America. The Black Panther Party.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
They're members of the Black Panther Party. That's how
Initially, it was all about protection, isn't it?
They left, and then those gangs
But
started.
drugs and money is what creates conquer and divide, isn't it? You know, a lot of the time things start with a decent intention, and our nafs or jinn and shaitan allow us to change our direction with things. You know,
Exactly. It's the same. That's what I was saying. It's the same with, even if it isn't to do with drugs and gangs. It's the same even in just power.
Yeah, 100%.
I think last time we was talking about even the companions, and we were saying, look, with regards to Muawiyah, at the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, when he became a Khalifa, and he put Muawiyah in a particular position, which is one of the companions, and he started to live in a, one would say, and in a bit more, you know, like with the wealth, like you can see he's wealthy now.
Yeah.
Do you get it? And then Umar stuck it on him and said, look, like, why are you living like this kind of thing? Do you get it? So, and that's the companions. You know, that's the Prophet ﷺ passing away, and a couple of years after we're talking about.
It's the best
so
of mankind.
imagine our peoples now. Do you get it? So that's a natural thing for human beings. When there's money involved, power involved, that's just how it's gonna go. Do you get what I mean? So it's
But also, look, parents. Remember, there's this like a fable. Fable is like a
fable.
Yeah, it's like a story, but it's like there's a moral behind it of a kid that steals from school a book, and he comes to the mum, and the mum doesn't say anything.
She knows he stole.
He goes, "Oh, I stole this book," and she's, "Oh, okay." And then as he's going, he starts doing other things, stealing more and more, and eventually, he's commit so much crime, he's about to get executed. So the mum comes to the execution, and he grabs the mum and he bites her ear hard. She pushes him. "What have you done?" She goes, "Mum, if the first time I stole that book, you had stopped me, reprimanded me, I would have got here today." Meaning sometimes like community facilitate certain things.
Yeah, for
you know, or sometimes the negligence of parents towards kids as well. Just not around.
100%.
Especially this day and age. Around and not around. Around, but you're on the phone. You're not really around.
You know, there is as well, a lot of the time, well, I'll speak in my case and then what I've seen around from my friends and things like that. A lot of the time, our mothers can have good intentions, good reminders, and genuine good guidance. But time is a key factor. And what I mean by that is predominantly a lot of our time is spent at school, with our friends, and in our area. And subconsciously, we're products of our environment. You combine that time compared to the time you're with your parents generally, it's imbalanced. So what's going to have a more powerful effect, especially if your surroundings is negative and trauma and what everyone else is dealing with? The impact, your parents, they're in a lose-lose battle.
100%.
Even if they work a 9 to 5, and in my generation, mothers are working 2-3 jobs. That's 8 hours already away from your kids. Yeah, 9 to 5. You get in from 6. Most kids are in bed by 9. You're getting 3 hours a day with your kids, Monday to Friday.
100%.
Comparison to the 8 hours that they're away from you, doing God's know what, in school and outside, on the route there, on the way back. What drama they're getting into that they're not telling you, whether they're a victim or a predator.
Oppressor, yeah.
You know? A lot of bad kids are good kids at home.
100%.
Their parents have no idea.
Yeah.
You know?
That's why, you mentioned earlier, and you mentioned something about legacy just off the podcast, just before, meaning sometimes the circumstances that parents are in where they need to be working and providing and they can't give that time to their kids. But where, you know what, it's, let's say, halal business and legacy that's left for kids where, you're able to give more time. You've also left them with some sort of stability. That's something that will come to. I'm going to jump a bit, but inshallah, you can take us back if you want, because I'm probably missing quite a bit. But I want to kind of just jump towards your Islam.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big jump still.
It's a big jump, yeah. Just want to, we can come back. I like to jump here and there.
I'm only interested in Islam, nothing else.
Yeah. So, inshallah, in terms of how old were you when you started looking into Islam? What were the major kind of like factors that had an impact on you becoming a Muslim? And then take us towards your Shahada as well, when you took it and what happened afterwards.
Yes, subhanAllah. I can wholeheartedly say Allah saved my life. And I'm on a journey of rectifying my wrongs and taking my time to do the best I can to, I guess, die in a manner that's pleasing to Allah. Leave what I can in a manner that's pleasing to Allah. I took my Shahada when I think I was 28. But regarding Islam, I've grown up with a lot of Muslims. But we was all on the curb, so I wasn't really seeing nothing. I just knew they were Muslim, they weren't practicing, or if they were, it weren't in front of me. I'd go to their house for Eid because obviously I'm going to go and eat the food,
Get that Muslim food.
Yeah. I think the first Muslim family I remember was when I was in Hackney still. It was a Turkish family. Yeah, and they used to treat me like a nephew. I'd get food, I'd get money. I was like, well, I won't pull it up there for Eid, But I never knew what it was.
You just thought it's celebration.
Yeah, in my head it was equivalent to Christmas,
How old were you then? 18, 19, 20s?
The Turkish family that I originally...
Yeah.
No, I would have still been in Hackney, so I was a kid.
Okay.
They're friends from my primary school, and then our others became friends. Yeah. Subhanallah, I can mention them later on regarding what I do now, because I circled back on them,
MashaAllah.
But in Northwest London, there was a Moroccan family that I was close to from when I started secondary school, and they always used to say, "Oh, you're going to be Muslim when you're older," And sometimes I'd ask why, and they say, "You've got foundation, your natural manners and etiquette." I didn't know what they meant by that, but it's like from my perspective, like we're from Jamaican culture, that's normal. You have to be polite and have manners. You have to respect your elders. It's going to be a problem if you don't. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So, yeah, that to me, I didn't see that as like that meaning that I'm going to become Muslim, you know? The first Quran I got was from a Somali cabman, you know? This was the era of cabs, no Uber or whatnot. I'd give him like £30 an hour and he'd take me to do what I'm doing, you know? And yeah, he pushed it on me. He just told me to put it in the highest place in my house. I'll be honest, I never opened it, but I put it in the highest.
Was it like an English one or Arabic one?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't open it.
Okay.
But I respected what he gave me and I put it at the highest place in my house. You know? Yeah. I looked for him since I taken Shahada because I know he's still a cabman. He's one of those kind of old uncles.
He sticks to what he knows.
Yeah. Inshallah, I'll find him.
Inshallah.
Yeah, because the area's quite small, you know? Yeah. So fast forward. I'm going to have to backtrack a bit if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Before I got sectioned, after I got sectioned and discharged.
What section, by the way?
Sorry.
Because someone might know. I know, but for the viewership, there's some people that don't know what section might means.
So section is when you go into a mental health hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is on road or inside? You got sectioned.
No, I got sectioned on road.
Okay.
So I got sectioned under 136, which is when the police arrest you, and they said I had a drug-induced psychotic episode. So the only drug I've done in my life is cannabis, skunk, weed, whatever. But which for a long time I wouldn't even call a drug, if I'm being honest with you. I'm Jamaican, this man's culture. Like, yeah, when I used to bun weed, I thought that I was going to do that till I'm an old man. It's just,
It's
yeah.
like drinking.
Yeah, second.
The white culture.
Second,
drinking, they don't even see it as a drug. That's just normal. I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to have a drink and go to bed.
Exactly. But yeah, it got the better of me. But yeah, I ended up, after being sectioned, I'll speak about that properly and lead you up to that after. But yeah, regarding how I took my Shahada. So after being discharged from hospital, there were some guys that was coming to see me, and they were from the church, and they were very passionate about their prayer. But they were from the road and they changed their life. And I was just like, right, if these men can come from where I come from and they can change their life, I must can do it. So it's inspiring to me. So I gave up my Lizzie. I'm 22 at the time. Yeah, I gave up my Lizzie and I tried. I felt like I owed it to them. If I'm honest, not even to God at first. I felt like I owed it to them. And I've always believed in God, you know. I had my own, yeah, we'll get into that as well. But yeah, I've gone to this church and I'm trying actively, not on a Sunday. I'm going there Monday to Sunday. I'm telling man, don't call me by my nickname no more. Yeah, and I'm telling man, call me Church. I'm on the stoop of the church steps, which is on my mains. So man are seeing me who do certain things to me, for me and whatnot, and they ask me, well, go on, what are you doing? Obviously the whole hood knows what's happened to me anyway. But man, I'm like, yo, like, what you on kind of thing? I'm just ignoring, man. I was doing evangelizing, which is like giving dawah. I went to one of the branches in Brixton and spoke, but I didn't speak on mental health. I just spoke on my criminal aspect because I wasn't comfortable enough at that time. If I'm honest with you, it's quite fresh and raw still. But why I left was because I've never bit my tongue, and subhanallah, you're supposed to seek knowledge. So even if you teach me something now about Islam that I don't know, I'm supposed to still double check that to make that sure that you got it correct. Yeah, you know. So for me, and no disrespect intended, because obviously you remember we believe in the book,
Of course.
but it wasn't preserved, which is why I was here, you know. And I would argue in Bible studies with them. This doesn't make sense to me, you know. Why am I praying to a man? And furthermore, you say he's the son. It doesn't make no sense to me. If you're telling me his dad is there, but why am I going to talk to the son if I can reach out to the pups? It
didn't make no sense.
It didn't make no sense, and they would go around it. But you can't patronize me. I'm a man that's going to get irritated quickly, you know. And it kept happening. I'm thinking, I know some of you man in there must have these same questions as me. And then like I start thinking, is it just me bugging out again? No. Like, you know what I'm saying, brother? And it kept happening. But the comfortability in there was nice. They made me feel comfortable, you know? So I tried to ride it out a little bit longer. I weren't linking no gal. I weren't swearing. I weren't making no wrong money anymore. Had some paper there, but it was going down, obviously, you know. And I weren't really checking for my old people then. But I'm on my mains. The church is on my mains. So I can't not see nobody.
Yeah.
And every time I bump into someone, they got a story about how I was moving before I got sectioned, which was embarrassing.
Okay.
You know, and I dealt with a lot of guilt and, you know. So fast forward after that, I've left, gone back to my boys, felt comfortability in them. They didn't make me feel no way of what I'd gone through. They were still bunning weed, they didn't offer it to me. But them times my mum's a drugs counsellor and she told me to be careful. She's like, take time, you don't replace that with something else. And I ended up doing that. So I started smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol. Remember, I'm 22, I haven't touched alcohol in my life.
You're 22 and you got sectioned, so just after it,
Yeah,
22.
yeah. But I'd never touched alcohol in my life, but I replaced weed with alcohol and cigarettes. Obviously, I used to put a chip of cigarette.
Habit for habit.
Yeah, I used to put a chip of cigarette in my spliff, but other than that, like, I wasn't smoking no cigarette like that. Yeah, so I picked up those two bad habits, but I was still dealing with my mental health.
What about the church? You left going to the church? Or
Yeah, I
still
left out back on the road,
Okay.
but I owed it to them, man, and I'm loyal like that. So I kept the link with them. I got the link with them up to now. You know, one of them's studying to be a pastor. You know, and I check in on him from time to time. Cause that's just how I am. You know, and he respects man's transition. He respects man's journey. He knows man's Muslim. He knows what I'm on. You know.
It's more because there was there for you in that low time of your life. So there's that
100%.
kind of natural
Yeah,
bond,
yeah.
regardless if you're on different paths.
Yeah.
And,
I can't
and gratitude as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Good
know?
character, yeah.
But yeah, so fast forward 6 years, I went to prison. And
6 years later or
yeah, 6 years later.
So now you're
I went
20
to prison at 28.
28, yeah.
Yeah. On remand, I was in Bullingdon. Two men next door to me, they would pray loud, so I'd hear them a lot.
Muslims.
Yeah. One revert, one Asian brother. And then, yeah, they were talks, man, whatever, because they're man's next door neighbours.
But now that you, 1 second, now you're Muslim. So what was they
No, I
reading?
wasn't Muslim.
No, I'm saying now you're Muslim.
Oh.
What was they reading then to be loud? The salahs.
Yeah. And the Adan, they were, it's like they were doing it for the whole landing. It's like he was doing the Adan for the whole land. I'm thinking, brother.
Really, you shouldn't really hear someone pray. So I'm thinking, how can you
No,
hear someone praying?
he's doing the Adan. Like, you
Oh, like, Allah
yeah, you think he's
Akbar.
doing it through the window. It's like he's letting the man them know, yo, it's Salah time.
A lot of time.
Yeah. I'm saying.
Do get them brothers in prison or like there's no obviously there's izzah, there's like pride in your way of life.
Yeah.
But yeah, some brothers kind of push the thing way too.
These times, man might be watching a young soap opera or something. You know what I'm
Say
saying?
that done through your window.
You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I'm respecting what he's doing. So it's like, you know what I mean? But yeah. Yeah, anyway, they gave me a couple of little booklets and I read them. I had to go Old Bailey for my plea. So obviously I left Bullingdon, gone there, gone Belmarsh. From Belmarsh, got a few more books, but I've backed my co-defendants. They're born Muslim. They're saying, oh, what's going on? TT up there. I'm saying, no. Yeah, but I'm reading, but I ain't even said that to them. Because I know if I give them an inkling, they're on my
onto
back.
you. Take your shoulder now.
Yeah. And my thing has always been kind of like, remember, I haven't been jailed before, yeah?
Okay, that's your first time.
Yeah. So in my head, like, I had a clean run. If I'm totally honest with you, I was a bit ignorant to the fact of thinking, I'm at this point in my life, man can't go this. Like, jail is off the cards for me. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm good. You know? And then, yeah, like, I got some more little books and that off a next brother on my wing, but I still weren't letting them man know what's going on. Yeah. And then I got bail. But then they shipped me out of London. I weren't allowed in London, talking about witness intimidation, all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, they banned me from London. I was on tag. I had to sign in the police station every day. And then I'm staying in one of my friend's partner's houses. And I've got these buckets of me still reading. Fast forward again, about a year later, but just under a year, got found guilty, gone to jail back in Belmarsh. I'm like, you tried to swerve it. That's what I'm saying to myself now. Because my thing is, I didn't want to put dirt on a clean slate. You know, I'd done it already. Because even at the church route, I got baptized, and I tried, and I messed up. I went back to what I was doing, so I was like, I can't do this again. You know, and yeah, the imam come and saw me. He tried to give me some books, and I was like, I've read that. So he's like, what's
Why, you're
going
not
on?
Muslim?
Yeah, so he's like, why? And I was like, I don't know how to pray. And he started he chuckled. And he's like, but obviously, he's like, it's about your heart. He's like, you're obviously open to it, and your intentions already been made. You're saying you don't want to do it because you don't know how to pray, so you're waiting to learn to pray before you take your shahada. And I was like, yeah, because you have to pray 5 times a day. And he's like, nah, you will learn these things, obviously. So I took my shahada.
In Marsh.
Yeah. My co-defendants who he recited me, their lifers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were 29 at that time.
No, I was 28 still.
Still really, how long were you inside in Belmarsh for?
In the marsh, I wasn't there that long because I got recategorized and shipped out. And they're ACAT, so they went to dispersals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are the same youngsters you grew up with.
Yeah, so there's 2 of them. So
They're the Muslim ones as well,
yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Turkish or whatever.
No.
Okay, these are different group. But
yeah,
same Muslim friends.
Yes, yeah. One of them, we go back school days. So I'm 40 now. He's a month older than me, but we was in the same year at school. So he 27 years now, subhanAllah.
He's been in 27
No,
years.
we go back 27
Oh.
years. He got 37, so he has to do the 37 before he goes in front of the parole. He's done 10 years. He's got 27 left.
That's a gun one then, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gone.
yeah,
Both of them 30s.
yeah. Well, 3 of them got 37, but 1 you ratted. Yeah.
This is it, actually. Look at that, man.
Mm.
Gone until what, 60s?
Yeah. But at the same time, they phone me weekly. They're very happy with me. Sometimes I can hear in their voices, it hits them a little different with the good things I'm doing. So I went to, I done Umrah for the first time in
Mashallah.
December. You know?
This December gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just a month and a half ago.
Yeah, I've done 5 nights in Medina, 6 in Mecca.
Mashallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah. Prayed Fajr front row in front of the Kaaba. Climbed Jabal al-Nur, prayed 2 Nafil in the cave where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr were. Climbed on top of that. Waited for the Adhan for Fajr prayer. It went through us because we were watching the whole Mecca. The Adhan just boom, 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 boom. It's brother. Yeah. That was an emotion. That was an
you told him
emotional
about
day.
it?
Yeah, of course. So happy for man. I performed 2 Umrahs, one on behalf of his father who passed away. Yeah, he was so happy for them, but at the same time, they haven't done that, you know. And they're on Deen. You know, this is their journey. I'm out here rectifying my wrongs. They're in there trying to rectify theirs. So even though you say, "Oh, right, they won't be home till they're 68," they're in a space where they know it was for them. You know, they know that was for them.
Yeah, they're content with where their situation is.
There is where they have a chance to rectify their wrongs and please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That wasn't going to happen for them out here. They know that now by the closeness of that they've gained and that relationship that they've built with them. You know, even though you're going to have moments because we're human, we were made weak. So we're going to have those emotional roller coasters, but at the same time, kada tawakkul and sabr. You know, you stand on those 3, you're good, you're strong at it. You know,
100%.
so
How was your journey then after that? You've taken Shahada, come out. How was your journey?
He's inside, isn't it?
yeah. I got sentenced and took my shahada.
Yeah, no, but
So
you weren't there for long though. You said.
No, I was in Belmarsh for a little bit. Then we went to Brixton prison.
Okay, how long were you in Brixton for?
So I got 4 years due 2, but I ended up doing just under 2.5 because I got some extra time. I got badged with some food and the phone and stupidness. But we've come through and I've done my first prayer there in Belmarsh. I've got my left hand over my right. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm looking around trying to copy people.
That's why I got my left hand over my right.
I'm just
Salah time, basically.
Yeah.
You don't know, obviously, how to pray and all that kind of stuff.
And the first dua I made was I asked Allah to put me with someone who could teach me to pray. And yeah, when I was in the holding cell from Brixton, I met a brother from Peckham called Youngs, and that's my brother, you know. Subhanallah, he was on House Block 1 with one of my co-defendants, so he knew who I was when I didn't know who he was, you know. And he's like, yeah, we're banging up together. So I was like, cool. talking, whatever. But I still didn't even ask him if he was Muslim. But after the Friday came and we was in Brixton, he's like, yeah, man's getting mashed. I was like, yeah, me too. He's like, okay. I was like, yeah. But he didn't ask me if I was new. These times he's been Muslim. So like, he's doing his thing, whatever. And then like, obviously I'm standing next to him, so I'm trying to copy him now. So obviously I think I've done left hand over the right again, not realising. We gone back to say like, brother, how long since you took your shower? I was like, the other day. He's like, it was you in the masjid. He's like, I heard the young youth shouting takbir, running around, but I couldn't see because there was big commotion. You get me? I was like, yeah, that's me still. And then I was like, you know how to pray though, innit? He's like, yeah. I was like, you can teach me? He's like, yeah. Within 3 months, he taught me.
Mashallah.
You know, I became the Muslim rep on A-Wing in Brixton. Yeah. And I didn't want to do that. The Imam put it on me, but same thing, subhanAllah. He said, your manners and your etiquette. He goes, it's for you to do this.
Mashallah.
You know?
So your time was spent in prison to learn the deen a bit better.
Yeah, I was doing Islamic lessons and studies. There were brothers coming from Whitemill that had been Muslim for 10 years and they thought I was born Muslim. And I didn't understand it or couldn't fathom it. I was teaching them surahs and things like that. And I don't say that in no boasty way at all, just in the aspect of I was hungry for it, you know? I had to hold back crying when I took my shahada because I nearly forgot where I was for a second. You know what I'm saying? Voila, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had to chuck that up still. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And then you came back from Brixton and...
Yeah, I was released from Brixton, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, there is that kind of stigma that most people that become Muslim in prison then come on road and change. So how did that go for you?
Yeah, I was excited to come home, but not for the eyes. Because I knew what time it was.
You're now 30, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You went to mum's house?
Nah, I hadn't lived in my mum's since I was a youth man.
Okay.
Yeah. But and they put me in a MAP hostel, high risk. Only allowed to stay out twice a week. They log your name and time every time you're in the building. Not allowed no visitors. Probation once a week. Work program once a week. Job centre every other week. Key work I want to see a couple of times a week. There's staff in there 24 hours. Yeah. And I had to stay there for 2 years.
Okay, 2 years.
Yeah, that was part of my license condition with a list of people that I weren't allowed to bump into or talk to. You know?
Out London? Or another part of London?
No, they put me in central London.
Central
and
London.
they done that as well because then it'd be easier to monitor me.
Okay. Yeah. And on the dean side, how was your dean those 2 years? And after those 2 years, is it still straight and narrow? Or?
It was while I was in prison?
No, out of prison now. In the hospital.
When I first come out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was strong. I remember my co-defendant sister, the first time she saw me. That was the first time I heard the word no. And she was like, it's strong. She saw me 6 months later and told me it had gone. Yeah.
It happens, okay. Because look, it's easy. See, that's why the stigma is there because in prison it's easier. Why? There's no fitna. There's no woman. There's no money. There's no...
No, there is money.
Well, I know what you mean about that money, but you got what I'm trying to say to you. There isn't that kind of level of, even if you did have money, what you spending on is not cars and anything like that. Most people do stack it.
Of course.
So the fitna really starts once you hit road. That's where the real test starts.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm trying to say to you? How are you going to spend your money? How are you going to make money? Are you going to go with this woman and that woman and this woman and not have the discipline to do? You know what I'm trying to say?
You can't be consistent and disciplined with your slot in prison. You're going to struggle out here. That's big facts.
100%.
And if you're behind your door for a certain amount of hours a day and the majority of your salahs are going to be while you're behind your door and you're not praying those,
it's peak.
Out here, trouble for you.
So the sister, your Cody's sister said Noor, as in light.
Yeah, it was light.
And then what she said 6 months later, she said it's gone?
Yeah.
What happened?
I went back to what I was doing.
Completely or just semi?
I got married within 3 months of me coming out of prison.
Okay.
Yeah, so my first month, I was just trying to catch up with everybody. Second month was Ramadan. You know, first Ramadan outside. But I couldn't even get no support from anyone because I've got to be in this hostel for 5 days a week. That's how I found the local masjid to the hostel that I was at. Okay. If it weren't for them, I would have been struggling. But Allah put that there for me. You know, I met brothers there that I'm good with up to now. They served food in there. So it's the masjid in Good Street. I think it's Saudi owned.
Yeah, Muslim World League.
Yes.
Yeah.
I brought 2 of my friends there to take their shahada.
Oh, sure.
You know, but yeah, they got like a kitchen upstairs, so you pray, break fast, go upstairs, eat, chop it up with the brothers, go back down to Rawi, Yeah, man, just there. Like one up. Because it's either I'm there or what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no family homes to go to. Like, no one's Muslim in my family. Like, where am I going?
Yeah, that's the
My
truth.
mother don't live here no more. She left to go to Jamaica when I was in jail. So my mother's home's gone. That's another thing. They lost my mother's home when I was in jail. My flat, my landlord was cool. He's an old Cockney man. So he took all my stuff and put it into storage for me. You know what I'm saying? My brother moved into my co-defendant's wife's house, and my sister ended up going in a hostel. And I didn't realise, but my brother's always been a good kid, but my sister's kind of got a bit of my mentality. She ended up jogging, doing whatnot, and then slapped it in my face when I come home. You know, we're good now, but yeah, that hurt me when I found out that's what she was doing, and it's like you weren't around it. What was I supposed to do, kind of thing.
So 6 months, okay, you know, you gone back to Jahiliya, un-Islamic lifestyle. Yeah, how long did that carry on for? When did you realise to say, look, you know, I've got to make another change now again?
I've been on this straight path for 6 years now, so it went on for 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it went on for 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the turning point then in that 4 years?
What and why? Why?
My son wanted to make a change. I had a few mental wobbles. My wife.
Is it the same wife you married?
Yeah.
MashaAllah, that's good, man.
I got married within 12 weeks of being home.
So
the month after.
Sister, yeah?
Yeah. She
Alhamdulillah.
born Muslim. The month after Ramadan, I got married.
MashaAllah.
Yeah.
So that she helped you, having the kids, that helped you to kind of like stay back onto Dean's side.
Yeah. I definitely would still be on road if it were. No, subhanAllah, let me reword that.
It would be more difficult in essence.
Allah aided her to keep me in the right path. You know, subhanAllah, even Umrah, that was her birthday gift to me.
Inshallah.
She booked it. MashaAllah.
Yeah. I thought we was going away for the weekend. And she's like, no, you need to take a certain amount of time off work. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, in my head, I thought I knew where we were going. So I was like, I'm not, like, no, not in a rude, we're not going, I don't need to be there for that amount of time. Like, I'll work, like, grind it out. She's like, no, you need to take the time. But because I'm being back and forth first, she's had to tell me. You know,
Can't even do surprises.
when I found out, brother, I got goosebumps. I teared up. I couldn't fathom it because it wasn't on my radar yet, and it was something that I knew I was thinking I was gonna have to do for myself. You know, yeah, like
Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, man.
And that is the essence of marriage, akhi. Proper Islamic marriage is when one person pushes the other.
Yeah, 100%.
In the right way, not even in a negative way, in the right way. That's her kind of day, and she's saying, you know what?
Yeah,
I want it for you and me.
yeah.
That's a beautiful system.
I went with a group, a random group of brothers that I'd never met before.
MashaAllah.
Shout them out still. Omar and Islam. They got a thing called Quest for Qibla.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Beautiful brothers, man. Man. Allah Mubarak, may Allah reward them for their efforts because, bro, the trip that they planned, the price, the things that they covered, things that they paid for it out of their pocket, the itinerary. Nah, they're doing it again in April, inshallah. They're taking 40 brothers this time.
MashaAllah.
You know? And they're young guys, man. Yeah, man. Yeah,
So she helped you in your journey?
Oh, yeah, but we both helped each other in our journey, especially Dean-wise, you know? If I'm being honest, like a lot of our family members have seen my transition with Dean, you know? And it's got a lot of them on the straight and narrow.
Oh, you said she's not a Reva, is she?
No, she's born Muslim.
Okay, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, she's Moroccan. Yeah. But like a lot of like me and her cousin are close.
Okay.
You know, like he's seen man's journey. He's on the right path now doing his thing. He's seen a lot from me. Other family members also, you know. Yeah. So I got another brother, not bloodline brother for Islam, you know. Shout out my brother Paps. I've seen this guy always pray, night prayer, Tuesday, Thursday he's fasting. Like Like he don't play still. Like he's doing Fajr in the masjid every day if he can. Like that's just him. Like he's Sierra Leone born Muslim, and he's a man. He says it to me all the time. I don't care what you're doing out here. Don't miss Salah. Even on days when I was going left and just like outside or in places I shouldn't be, i.e. nightclub or whatever, I'd leave early and go to the masjid to pray Fajr. I'd have people looking at me like, you're bugging out. What do you mean you're leaving from here to do that? But I'm saying, I don't care. You judge me. I know what I'm going to do. And I used to do it often. And I think even I got close with a lot of the people in the masjid, isn't it? And I think they would know where I was coming from because of what I'm wearing when I'm stepping in. You got the uncles. Remember, like, it's Fajr. Not a lot of people turn up for Fajr congregation.
Of course.
And obviously I know the uncles. They know me. You know what I'm
coming up there with a button-up T-shirt.
Yeah, man's coming in with some like uptown kit on, you know what I'm saying? And they're looking at me, but man's there consistently, so it's like
MashaAllah.
he's on his, you know. But now they see me, they know my son. Like my son done his first Tarawih last year. The uncles was thinking he weren't gonna make it. He left with bare money because they were rating his thing off, so, you know.
You mentioned something about your work. What work did you, when you came out, what did you get into after, you know, like kind of like the...
I got humbled, Aki. Allah humbled me. Allah humbled me. Yeah, I was in UPS.
UPS deliveries.
Yeah.
Okay.
But subhanAllah, I was still doing what I was doing at the time.
That's that 4-year period.
Yeah. But I wanted the job.
Okay.
But I couldn't get it and the system weren't helping me. Remember, they're sending me work program, job center, all these places. They're not finding nothing for me. I'm in my 30s, never had a job, no qualifications. So they can't find nothing for me. I bumped into a guy in my old hood and he's patting me. But at the same time, he was asking me why, because he's looking at me. He's preeing my wrist, what I'm wearing. He's thinking like, you want to work in here? He didn't deep it. And he weren't Muslim. I'm saying, nah, man, this ain't it, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it looks the part, but it ain't the right way.
Yeah, even when I got the job, even my brethren, they were happy for man. But they were like, yo, you're making a lot of noise about this thing, brother. I was like, you got a part-time job, chill out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it meant a lot to me. And I got a lot from that. I was there for 2.5 years. The day I started, me and a Portuguese guy called Michael started, and I told him I'm going to leave here within 3 years. He goes, to do what? I go, I don't know. But I knew I was going to leave. And I left in 2.5. But I got everything I needed from there. Allah put me there to humble me, to let me know the benefits are from this side. And it's going to be struggles. There's going to be tests, but you're going to get through them, you know? And I went through some tests while I was there, you know? I met a Kenyan brother, old uncle, Jibril. Oh, knowledgeable brother. He would teach me a lot about Deen. Ramadan, we'd fast. And he taught me, I still talk to him to this day. You know? Yeah, man, I needed that, you know?
Was that your first job?
Yeah.
Ever?
Nah. My mum forced me to get a job when I left school, but I lasted like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, so as in adulthood now, that was your job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was doing what I was doing then as well, but my mum wasn't hearing it. She's like, I don't care how much money you think you're making out here. She's like, if you're not going to study, because she sent me to a Hollyper College open days, but I weren't going to none of them. And then, yeah.
So after you left that one, what did you, because you mentioned about Sister Sarah, for example, she does, you know, charity and mental health support and stuff. Did you get into that as work or as a kind of like a...
Say, even so, for me, even to be here, like Allah's the best of planners.
Subhanallah.
So I called here for a week and a half in a row.
Called here?
But you guys were in the country, but I didn't know this.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
I was away, I was in Umrah.
Subhanallah. Yeah.
I was near Umrah.
So Sarah and I are colleagues, and she set up a Muslim lived experience group for us at work. So it's for Muslims who have lived experience to create awareness, as we know how it is in the Muslim community. I joined that.
Awareness of what, sorry?
Of mental health.
Okay.
And I joined that, and yeah, we've been doing all right, you know. I used my LinkedIn. I found some brother up north from Birmingham. He was deep in his studies, plus he's like a psychologist, whatnot, and he performed like a 12-week program. And I think we got like 20 or 30 people in it, which was either people from the community or people who were suffering from mental health. But she reached out to me and she was like, this is a local masjid. So I was like, okay, cool. And then she was like, the Imam said that someone had been sectioned recently. But obviously she's a sister and this was a man. So she said that he was trying to go to the hospital to see this gentleman. Is there anybody that can support him? So she thought of me. But she gave my government name to you.
Okay.
Yeah? So I'm gonna tie it together now, yeah? So she gave him my non-Muslim name, yeah? So then when she's told me, I'm like, cool. She's like, phone them and let him know. No, just mention my name. So I'm like, cool. So I phoned. He wasn't available. I know you're a busy man. Alhamdulillah. Allah Mubarak. I know you're sick. Yeah.
He's not busy though. He's not busy.
You're a high in demand man.
I am busy now. He's the busiest, mashallah.
So I left my number. No one hit me back. She's like, no, they do that. Phone. She's like, phone back. If you don't hear from them Friday, phone back. So I said, cool.
Did you phone the masjid or do you kind of like...
I phoned the masjid.
Masjid, okay.
Yeah. Still didn't. Now it's just ringing. Whoever's admin, they ain't even answer it. Yeah.
This is a review.
Bad about the...
No, man.
This is a review moment, Sheikh. You don't go down.
No. This is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm telling you. Allah is the best of planners. He still got me here.
No. Don't worry, we're still gonna sack them. But carry on.
Nah, not on my time.
Don't worry.
Not on my time.
This is on live TV.
That's how you work to go.
No. Protect that brother.
We're just gonna sack
Protect that brother, yeah?
I know who it is as well.
Protect that brother. So then, nothing's happened.
Typical Lucian.
Christmas Day, I'm at my in-laws and I've gone to masjid to pray salah. Yeah? There's a brother in there giving a talk, Abdul Latif.
Oh, that's the other brother, Abdul Latif. This can't be me.
Yeah, the one from Tottenham.
Okay, mashallah, yes.
Yeah?
Thinking of me, mashallah. I'm everywhere nowadays.
So I've listened to part of the talk there. My mother-in-law's like, the food's cooked, what are you doing? The salah don't take this long. So I'm like, all right, I'm coming now. So I've left here.
Kilburn Mosque, yeah?
Yeah, but
because that's local, yeah.
But I'm good with faces, I'm bad with names. But I've logged this face. So I've had my food, I'm chilling. And, you know, it's at the end, everyone's doing their own thing, talking, whatnot. So I'm just on my phone, if I'm being honest, scrolling on TikTok. And I see this group pop up, Brotherhood something. I can't remember the name of the page, but I see his face pop up on it. So I've clicked on it, so it's got me. And I've just seen this, brother. You know, one of those ones there? Then there's like a WhatsApp group that you can join. I've joined it. It's taken them like a day and a half to let me in. I'm saying, oh, this is dodgy, man. They've let me in. I'm seeing like fitness group talks on a Wednesday. Every fortnight, they got this going on and this masjid. I'm saying, yo, this looks serious. What's going on in here? Yeah. I clicked to join two of these groups inside the group that they've let me in now, yeah? I see 300
A rabbit hole, innit?
Yeah, you know? I see 300 brothers in one group. I see 250 men in another group. Then boom, the like leaflet pops up for an event that's happening on a Friday in the masjid in Tottenham. Masjid Aisha?
Masjid Aisha, yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to that. I see free Caribbean food as well, saying, what man's pulling up? So I go with one of the brothers that I met from Umrah. We're all close, all 20 of us. Like we link up regular. We're still in the group chat. We all chop it up. We give reminders that like we're together. Yeah. So me and one of the brothers go. We get there. We see him. He's got a book. I buy one for one of my brothers, and I get one to read with my son. Leave. Goes back a second time. I bring two more brothers from Umrah with me. Mm-hmm. That's when he comes and he's like, oh, yo, I remember you from last time. What's going on? So me and him chop it up a little bit. He asks like a bit about my stories. I tell him. He's like, take my number. I told him I'm writing a book. So he's like, cool. He said, send it to me. A few days later, obviously the next day I messaged him.
You said you're writing a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've said like, next day I just messaged him, courtesy message, Assalamu alaikum, shukran, like proper respect to the brotherhood, love what you're not doing over there. And then he's like, send me the book, man. So he's like, I'm going to read it. So I sent it to him. He's read it. He said, it's powerful, whatnot. And then obviously he knows what I do for work. And then he approached me saying, would you feel comfortable going on a podcast? Initially, my radar was up like, no. And then he mentioned what podcast it was. and it ties in, one, as a Muslim, and two, with the cause of awareness that I'm trying to create. So I was like, this is an ayat. So I was like, yeah, of course I'll go. This time I haven't told him that Sarah's already is making me supposed to come see you for other reasons. But I haven't been able to see.
And Abdul Latif was the plug, yeah.
So, and I've emailed her like, phone me ASAP. So she's phoning by Skype on the work call, and I'm like, I'm going to see him anyway, but she's like, make sure you tell him. I'm like, yeah, I will, And yeah, that's how I'm here, brother.
Allahu Akbar. Qadar Allah. It's Allah's qadar, Allah's decree. Inshallah.
Yeah. Because Abdul Latif messaged me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he messaged me because this guy, he's busy. He's busy. He doesn't know no one, akhi. So he messaged me and I had to.
I've seen Uncle. He knows everybody.
He knows everyone. He knows everyone. Allah Mubarak. Let's not promote him on too much. Khair, just due to time, we didn't chat too much about, and I think that's your main topic, the mental issues with a lot of people, and how do they even get into it? How do they come out? So I think that might be a bit, important to get into. Obviously, you started off about, you was obviously into drugs.
Cannabis
specifically,
yeah,
and that's what what led me to your
cannabis only. Yeah, which for a long time I didn't see as a drug due to my culture where I'm from. Cannabis only. I've never touched any other drug in my life. Let's clear that.
Because there's other people that take other drugs. And
I know. But I'm talking about. I can speak for me. I can only speak for me.
No, for the record, it was weed and skunk.
Yeah, I'm from an area where, that's not my thing.
No, but on that topic, because obviously it's not only just that particular drug that people
no, of course, 100%. No, I hear you. I'm just saying
that's what caused you. So did they say that, or is that something you're saying was the reason? Did they say,
no, I'm saying it was part of it. Yeah, it was part of it. I didn't sleep for 8 days, and sleep deprivation is a form of torture.
Okay.
I got a section because I tried to attack a police officer with a samurai sword. Yeah.
And that's after obviously smoking weed.
Yes, yeah.
But you've been smoking for years, so how come it was that time?
It's a combination of that and the sleep deprivation. Plus my close friend got murdered. My friend buried his daughter. She was 12 weeks old. He was carrying her coffin. It was the size of a shoebox. These were all things that led to me having a mental breakdown. But I work now for a forensic mental health team. Unfortunately, a lot of the people in the services are ethnic minority, Muslims, asylum seekers. And it's hard to see, especially when everyone's senior is not from our community.
You're saying the majority of people that are in places are actually minorities, not even like the majority of the white people in the country?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. It's our community that's in mental health institutions. Yeah.
Crazy.
There are white people there as well.
Yeah, of course. But you're saying as a proportion. That's crazy.
What's your reasoning for that?
A lot of different dynamics. On the people come from different countries aspects, they got their own trauma that they're coming here with, culture, communication barriers, trying to make stuff happen and then just can't handle it. Plus they got no support system. So the mental breakdown happens. For us, or London boys that have grown up here, society puts a lot on us that we're portrayed in a different manner. Road life can get the better of you sometimes. We're seen as strong, and there's a lot of fear from everybody else because of us, naturally. That's a you in a hoodie and a tracksuit. Be mindful. No. So when you are doing something that can be seen as violent or whatnot, it's heightened even times more. What tends to happen is you get put on sedative drugs. They
make you worse now.
Yeah, no.
They slow you down, because I can name
100%.
I can name about, I can't name them obviously on here, but I know at least 5-6 people from back in the day that have all gone through this now.
So sedative drugs are to erase the risk factor of you harming yourself or anybody else. Unfortunately, because of the amount of people that go through mental health. So for example, if someone's going through a psychotic episode and they have to be sectioned because they're a risk to themselves and the public, they're going to be in a hospital. Now, the medication that they would use on them is a lot of the time either antipsychotic or a sedative that will slow them down, yes, so they're not now a risk to themselves or anybody else. But unfortunately, the support system that they need to understand the mental health, have positive coping mechanisms, and understand their triggers so they don't do it again, there's not enough time for that. No fault to the system. The fault is that there's too much people with mental health currently. So now that person's risk has been reduced, yeah? There's 10 other people who need his bed. They are a risk to themselves and the public.
Okay.
So unfortunately, he can't stay here. He has to go back in the community. But he doesn't understand what's happened to him. Now he's got an extra layer of trauma. He's come back to the community. He's ashamed. He's got guilt. He's got his family, his people looking at him. If he doesn't know how to deal with that, what's going to happen? The same thing's going to happen, and then he has another one. That's how he ends back up in hospital again and again and again and again. Because there's so much other people outside.
On a side note, Hamza, Jazakallah khair, I think, you know, one is separate from the podcast, The Bridge, I think speaking to communities, masjids, organizations, even here in Lewisham, because people need to be aware. Like the point that you mentioned, you know, the understanding that the community needs to have and give a bit more support. We also can be very judgmental. He's not well, you know what, shun him. Don't acknowledge him, don't support him. So that kind of like negative, judgmental attitude, that's got to be challenged. And people need to be educated. Yeah, and you'll be surprised sometimes, you know, so many people go through mental health episodes.
No one's exempt.
Yeah.
For me, this is an intriguing conversation because I really try to understand, because a few of my closest friends, even family members, have gone through it. But it's just trying to understand, because they're strong people as well. That's the other things. Like, these are, take away them being sexual. I don't even know how to call it, because you're trying to use the right words. They're mad men. Like, I don't even know how to kind of articulate it, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I hear you, my brother.
From being on point, like articulate, calculated, everything, to just one day.
People are confused up to this day when I tell them it's happened to me. You know?
Yeah, because you look...
But then, you know the deepest thing, my brother? Working in the field that I'm in now, behind the curtain, I've seen doctors get sections, psychologists. They can't handle their workload. These good kids who have never had anything wrong with them, they're at university, they can't handle the workload. They end up in hospital. I'm like, how did you get here? I'm confused, you know?
But keep in mind the point that he mentioned, that Hamza mentioned, which you kind of like, you know, alluding to, maybe not understand, you probably are understanding it, but where he said, look, you're made to think you're tough. And that in itself is a push towards this.
100%.
Yeah. Because now if you are kind of like acting in a wrong way and you're supposed to be tough, but it's just your character to be kind of like maybe not tough, but abrupt or something, they're going to see that as a negative. And that sometimes is a problem. But also the mind, while it's strong, it's very fragile.
We, as men, we wait till we get to breaking point before we seek help, if we're going to seek help.
Yeah.
By then it's too late. So statistic-wise, a black man is 4 times more likely than the white man to have a psychotic episode in the community. A white man's 4 times more likely than the black man to receive psychological or therapeutic support, because they're comfortable more to speak about these things with family or friends or people. We're not. And that's on an ethnic minority aspect, and that's on a Muslim aspect.
Yeah.
Now, on a Muslim aspect, all we scream is jinn. Remember, 2 things can coexist. Yeah? So jinn and mental health can both coexist. Yeah. And I've seen that firsthand. I sent you the message and told you a bit about the story of the brother that I supported, yeah? And when I tell you, wallah, this is real, the jinn aspect and mental health, I've seen it firsthand and I've got evidence to back up anything I'm telling you. Because I had to do that to protect myself in that situation. 1, I didn't want people to think I'm crazy. And 2, if I had to put my hands on this youth, I wanted people to understand why. Because it was just me, him and his mother there at the time. The man who came to done Ruqya left because he was scared. Allah gave me the strength to not be scared in that position, because man don't fear man. Yeah? But I was nervous because I didn't know information Islamically about jinns. But I knew the mental health aspect. But it was still scary, and this is why we need to have these conversations where you can dilute the stigmas and stereotypes and give information so people understand and know where to reach out and seek support and advice. Because it's only going to get worse for a moment, unfortunately, and we need to be dealing with reality. We can't brush off things that are in our face, because then it just happens and no one can't stop it or help it. We should be in a space of prevention or preparing.
100%.
because there isn't a cure at the moment, and the support system isn't strong enough.
Yeah, because everyone I've seen that's gone in it, barring you, if I'm being honest, if I'm really being honest, like I've not seen anyone that has been sectioned and has come out like that looks fine anyway and acts fine and behaves fine. I've not seen that. Everyone that I've known until now are mentally slow.
But that's another sad reality, my brother. And inshallah, your platform helps that. Because you know what it is? Mental health and road life. Man make it from off the curb and just make a change on a rehabilitation thing from prison life. And he goes on to do wedding life legitimately. You don't hear his story. We focus on negativity. Negativity goes viral. Positive doesn't.
100%.
Yeah. So that's one aspect. You see, mental health wise, same thing.
You don't.
There's not many men who will come back and tell the story. Never mind work in the field where part of their trauma was from. So that's why you would say, oh, you don't, I'm the only person you would think of, because men ain't coming to tell you these stories. They're not comfortable enough because they know the stigma and the stereotype that comes with it.
100%.
Sometimes the messenger has to be the scapegoat, and I'm happy to be that.
But also, Hamza, I think you mentioned jinn and mental health. The other scenario is just mental health, but we don't want to accept it. That everything that a Muslim wants to run to is jinn, magic,
No.
and not acknowledging. It doesn't have to be magic and jinn. It could be just mental health.
Yeah.
What is the Islamic perspective? Anyway, obviously we know of the Prophet ﷺ saying that the pen is lifted from the person.
Yeah, that's when the kind of like you're totally mental health's kind of like completely gone, and you might be doing things which are, let's say, off key. You're not going to be accountable with Allah Almighty.
You generally don't have capacity.
Yeah, but the other thing is the stigma point that you mentioned, because that's where the Muslim community is. I'm not even going to tell anybody
That this person
my friend or my relative. What are they going to say? How did he get to that state? He must have had low iman, or she must have had low. You understand? Rather than look at, okay, look, let's offer support, let's offer guidance. And sometimes it's simple things in relationships which have an impact, positive impact or a negative. Positive, love being there, care being there. Negative, love not being there. So, and even, we talk about the physical side, the physical abuse. That can have traumas and scars. So those are, that's what I'm saying. I think it needs a separate discussion from you on that, a lecture and talk and workshops.
Yeah, that's subhanAllah. So I'm currently developing a program that I want to do in schools, units, universities, and then in all mental health hospitals and in prisons. So I go into prisons and I do talks as well. I've gone to Wood Hill, I've done work in Feltham, and I dabble on both sides. So they have mental health units in prisons as well.
Yeah, but it's also, I think, definitely speaking to doctors, bro. Because I was in Feltham and a close friend of mine opposite me, friend from young.
Yeah.
Random one day, I don't know. But he's always been, even on the streets, a dopey guy that does random things. So he's known for doing just the most randomest things. So I know that's normal to him. But in prison, they don't know him.
Yeah.
So he's opposite me, and randomly on one of the days, he's just started throwing poo on the... He done one of those. So they're thinking you're crazy, but he does off-key things like that.
Okay.
You get what I mean? For show, for bravado, for people to think he's mad, but he's actually not mad. They juiced him. So sometimes what I'm saying is...
That's a rapid tranquilizer is what it's called.
Okay, gone, fat, he became chubby.
It will knock you out for like 20... Depending on the dose, it can knock you out for 24 hours, 48 hours. A lot of the time, you don't make it back from that.
Exactly.
There was an article in The Independent last week. I can't remember the full kind of percentage, but since they legalized cannabis in Canada, the rate of psychotic episodes, I think they said increased by 70%. So imagine... the impact of drugs, hard drugs on mental health. They're talking about cannabis as an effect. So even that. Then add to it the age of social media and what you're taking in from the screen. All of this, many youngsters can't communicate, have a conversation with someone because they're not accustomed to meeting people. It's just like an online fake world, which
even their reading and writing level is poor.
Yeah.
There's youths that I know who are out here.
I don't think people can write these days.
They survive off of WhatsApp being able to correct the word for them and things like that because they can't spell it. Or a man will be... it's deep still on a different level, a lot of like levels and dynamics, especially things like that.
So on that, I think obviously one thing is definitely the prevention side of things is key. How do you even get away from people becoming sectioned, mad, whatever you want to call it.
When you say get away, what do you mean, brother?
Like how to even stop, like
Oh,
preventing
okay.
it from happening.
Yes,
How
yes,
can we
yes.
stop it? Is it stopping the weed? Is it stopping the violence? Is it parents being on point? Is it community? Like that conversation.
That's unrealistic. As I told you, we got to deal with logic and real. If we start going into delusional spaces, then we're not going to be realistic in our aims, our intentions, and our goals. You know, we have to plan, prep, and execute. And starting from a space which is unrealistic, then we're planning to fail, my brother. We're not stopping violence. We're not stopping drug use. That's not happening, my brother. Let's keep it 100. That's not happening. In the spaces where we can prevent, it's about having conversations and being open, honest, and vulnerable, and diluting stigmas and stereotypes regarding conversations regarding mental health and changing the narrative. That's what it's about first and foremost. Once we do that, we give information and we make these conversations become comfortable to have. Yeah. So when men are going through crisis, they feel comfortable to actually speak about certain things. That's the first step. Because then once someone speaks about something, they're in a space where they can seek help. Man don't want to seek help because it's classed as weakness. Man have to break down and get forced help, which is the cure. There is no prevention because no one wants to seek it.
But Hamza, look, like our pushback on that would be, we're dealing with the problems, not the root cause of it. Meaning what Abdul Latif is saying, look, that's the root cause. Until you don't deal with those root causes, that's always going to exist.
I hear you, Uncle.
What do you think?
But that's for the professionals, is in the aspect of psychology, trauma therapy. I've done these things now. I've gone trauma therapy. I've seen psychologists. I've done courses on self-compassion. I've been on a self-development journey for 10 years, and there's still a lot I've got to do. I haven't dealt with all my root causes, you know. Iman gets me through these things, you know. Yeah. But at the same time, regarding prevention aspect, if we're not getting people in a space where they can openly and honestly feel comfortable to seek help, then how is it going to even start? How are you going to even get to a root problem if you don't even know that one exists?
Yeah.
We only know it exists when they break down and they're having a psychotic episode in the community. The statistics are proving this.
You know, I'll give you an example. Like, for example, sometimes when marriages fail, the impact of on kids, talking about mental health, meaning as a solution from a root cause perspective, making sure that the spouse you select is the right spouse. And even if there are mistakes, those mistakes are not, like, you're not fighting in front of the kids. You're not having a punch up in front of the kids. You're not swearing in front of the kids.
Of course.
Meaning, you know, that will be kind of like dealing with the root cause.
Yes.
Because sometimes even marriages, people just rushing into marriage and you know what, that's it. I met her 3 times and that's it. The fourth one is our nikah. Yeah. You know, that kind of
100%.
dealing with some of those kind of like concerns and issues.
But you know, regarding the dealing with the root issue on the professional side, obviously as our community, we can start these things 100% with the workshops and but a conversation to get them comfortable to have the conversation still needs to be first. Because if we've got 100 men here and we have a conversation and everyone's silent after, then how are we helping them with their root cause?
Yeah, 100%. You know? Yeah, it's multifaceted. It's multifaceted, but 100%. Part of that is that, and I do believe at the same time, it's just trying to, like you probably made it more sense from the Muslim perspective at least, or the Muslim scene as much as we can. The drug prevention, the violence prevention, they're trying to keep marriages together. These are going to be probably one of the prevention, but then it also coming out of it now, because you came out of it, alhamdulillah, and yes, you're still fighting with it, whatever it might be, but you came out of that side. How does one, you know,
success story?
Yeah. How do you even do that?
All praise to Allah.
Even that needs to be showcased. Yeah, and like you said, they focus on negative, but I'm sure there's so many success stories like yourself.
The same thing. Yeah, so we only focus on the negative. Yeah, there's been a brother I supported who he was in jail, then he got sectioned, then he ended up in the forensic mental health team. I was working with him for a while. He was fasting through Ramadan. He didn't have to do that because he didn't really have capacity at them times there, and he's on high medication. Man's having to ask the doctors, is it okay? Because I don't want anything to happen to him. You know, I'm linking him and we're going masjid. You know, he fasted. I see him the other day, wallah. He's married. He's got a son now. He's studying and he's got a part-time job.
MashaAllah.
You know?
Alhamdulillah.
Need to talk more about that, man. How do you get out of it? Because most people just think once you're there, you're there. 100%. That's it. Like that's you gone.
So the itinerary in a compact version his support system, identifying your positive coping mechanisms, and identifying how a positive coping mechanism can become a negative. There's a thin line between the two. Being self-aware. Self-development's key, knowing yourself.
What about the drugs? Do you come off the drugs at some point?
Yeah, that's a must.
Yeah,
That's
because
a must.
one of the people I know now, they're still on it. So I can tell they're just slow when they're talking. It's like very slurry. Like they're there, but they're not.
Oh, sorry,
there.
you meant, so when you said drugs, I thought you meant as in drugs, as in street drugs.
No,
You
I'm
mean
talking
drugs
about
as in medication?
Yeah, medication. They're
So
meant up.
that goes hand in hand, bro. And it becomes a bit technical because I'm
one comes
not
first?
a doctor or a nurse, my brother. You know? And I took myself off them.
Okay.
If I'm keeping it a buck with you. They thought I was taking them, I wasn't. But then subhanAllah, at the same time, the brother I told you about, where he coexisted with a jinn and mental health. Wallah, he phoned me the other day, my brother, and he's happy he's on a depot. So a depot is an injection. So instead of you taking an oral medication, which is a tablet, they give you an injection and it goes through your bloodstream. And that's more time for people who may forget to take their tablets. So this way you're 100% getting your medication.
It's interesting you mentioned that.
He's saying he's happy that he's on a depot. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because there's a brother who comes here and he would take he had a mental health episode, family problems, you know, wife left him, kids and everything, and basically went into you know, the mental health kind of like hospital. It's called the Ladywell unit.
Okay.
And they started injecting him, and the guy's cool,
See?
stable, comes to the masjid, prays.
Subhanallah, see?
Brother started telling him, no, don't do that, akhi. This is bad. They're doing this to you. He listened to them.
He went left again.
Come left. Violence, aggression.
See?
Yeah. It's not changing clothes, not washing. So, you know, you've got to,
Subhanallah.
because remember, there's also specialists in that field that you got to kind of like listen to, get involved in that dialogue. Not everything, it's kind of.
It's the same thing, my brother. It's communication. We need to be bringing. So, I know some Muslim brothers who are nurses, and that they need to be coming and giving information on the medication side, brother, because I can't speak on it.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and that I can see in your face that shocked you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm confused with the whole thing.
You know,
And you probably know the brother as well.
Okay, yeah, I know.
but yeah, there are and
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's contradictory in a sense. But what I'm hearing is, obviously you had the capacity in your brain to know what was good for you at that time. And this person might have known that, but didn't have the self-awareness to, you know, not follow their guidance and stick to. So it's a fine kind of line to really cross. Like, do you take it? Don't you take it? Do you listen to the government or whoever these people? And there's remember, the trust also isn't there from the Muslim perspective. Caribbean, I'm sure 100% is also not there. But the Muslim perspective, we don't trust the government. And so anything that comes from the government, it's like, no, I'm not taking it. Even though it might be good for me, I am not taking it.
No. And that's why the stigma and stereotype let that brother take the information from the man in the community rather than the professional, when he knew it was working for him.
Yeah.
He knew it was working for him. Because of the stigma and stereotype from someone influential to him in his community, he said, I'm going to listen to this brother. And he stopped, and look what happened to him.
Hamza, one thing you mentioned earlier on, a legacy. What did you mean by leaving a legacy? What did you mean by, is that to do with this work in terms of mental health?
Yeah. So, yeah. For me, legacy is leaving something behind that will help people, which will give you barakah beyond the grave, and generate financial income.
Okay.
So for me, the journey that I'm on right now is writing my book. It's called Transition, Rebuilding a Broken Mind. I'm trying to execute a documentary, and then the programs, as I said. So those three things for me will be legacy, because a book is a hard copy and an audio, which inshallah can stand the test of time.
It's more about you, It's like a biography about yourself.
It's about my journey of lived experience and working in the field, you know, and then my opinions and views on the mental health system, route to recovery, prison system, rehabilitation, transition, and the emotional roller coaster that comes with people making that transition, because that's a whole new conversation, you know. And then the documentary for someone who's a visual person rather than a reader, you know. And then the programs is something that I can, inshallah, go in and implement it from the root cause, because then I can catch them from they're young.
Inshallah.
You know, and that for me is legacy, because those three can stay there after I'm dead and gone, inshallah, and that can create generational income for my family, and it can help others, because the sad reality is mental health and prison systems are going to be here way after I'm gone.
So if we can bring some goodness from it,
Inshallah.
why not?
Yeah, man.
Barakallah feek, man. I think there's further things we can go into, but just I'm conscious of time. But just to obviously wrap it all up in essence, yeah. What is it that you're doing right now? Is there a name? Is there a company?
Yeah, so I work for a forensic mental health team. I'm a peer support worker.
Okay.
I'm the first in my trust with lived experience under health and justice. So there's one forensic mental health team in the community. Everywhere else is just it's prison based. So I end up doing a lot of work in prisons as well. And I talk to a lot of professionals as well as they call it service users. I say clients, so patient prisoners. But yeah, so like I spoke last week in front of a group of professionals, which was the Health and Justice Occupational Therapists Away Day. I've also done Health and Justice Psychological and Therapies Away Day. Yeah, like I let people see things from different perspectives. My colleagues are forensic consultants, psychiatrists, social workers. AMP is the person who does a mental health assessment to decide if that person's going to get sectioned or not. Nurses, care coordinators, and so on.
Okay. So do you do something privately, or is it?
No, that's my aim, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Because then
Then,
that'll be
you can
on my
then,
terms.
Exactly. May Allah help you with your endeavors, inshallah. Just to wrap up again, final advice. You've been through obviously a lot Mubarak. You've come out the other side of it, and inshallah you stay like that, and your family as well. And yeah, just wrapping it up, like personal advice, things you've gone through.
No questions too invasive. I'm in a space where I've turned my pain to power. As I said, I'm here to help, and I'm on a journey of rectifying my wrongs. So no question is too invasive.
When you say that, though, do you mean like that's how people should live?
No, I mean that for me personally, because I still don't know too many people in this field on my side, meaning we've lived the same lived experience. So that's why I say the messenger sometimes has to be the scapegoat. So in the aspect of contacts, spaces to go and give talks to make this conversation become comfortable, I'm happy to do that. Regarding someone who's in a situation, we have the Muslim Lived Experience group. So Sarah, maybe even if you get the leaflet of her and plug that on here. So that's a support space where people can go to, men, brothers and sisters. When we have the groups, it's all off. No one sees anybody's face, no one has no one's name, and brothers and sisters can coexist in that same space. For in-person stuff, I'm happy to do that. I know she would be happy to do that. Man will travel and go anywhere. It doesn't matter if it's weekend or after work. Like, man's here for this.
Inshallah.
Make sincere sujood, man. I think that's the biggest breakthrough I've ever had in my life. Any conversation I'll have with any person on this planet Earth, I've had with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you got to remember, there's two aspects. Allah puts us all together to help each other, so he'll use you to help somebody else, or vice versa. But be sincere there first. He's the only one that's helping you. He's put us here to help somebody else, inshallah, that sees this. I've buried my head on the mat and spoke longer than I've been here with you guys. I broke down crying like a newborn baby on the prayer mat numerous times. Any of my friends, that's the best advice that I can give. Talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't think you're going mad, bugging out. That's the best thing you can do. It's better than talking to anybody else. You see your secrets that you'll bear there, you'll start saying subhanallah so much, because Allah will put people in to meet you and have those conversations that you had on that mat, and you'll be like, how? But that's because Allah was listening and he's answered your dua.
Subhanallah. Yeah.
Wallah. I can wholeheartedly I'll put that on anything. Like tahajjud prayer as well. Get that in.
Tahajjud,
Get that in.
late night prayers where
Yes.
midnight kind of.
There's a cheat code for it. See, if you get up to go toilet in the middle of the night, don't just wash your hands and go back to your bed. Do and pray tahajjud and then go back to sleep. It's 10, 15 minutes. You start noticing, even if you do it every other day and make a small dua, even like the new one I told you I learned the other day, Bismillah. Rabbi inni lima and zalta ilay min gharim fakir. It's the one where Musa used to separate the sea, yeah? Little things, you'll see big changes. Because remember, Allah loves routine. Make your routine pleasing to Allah.
Even if it's small. Consistent.
Sujood. Do this, yes, good. Head on the mat, better. That, tahajjud, be consistent with it. Be sincere with it. Be open with it. Be honest with it. If you find it hard to be vulnerable with people, be vulnerable there.
Yeah, that's great advice, Akhi. 100%, man. I think that salah and having your forehead on the floor is 100% the most submissive position as well. There is no lower place in life to be than to put your forehead, your knees and everything on the floor. So no, we appreciate that advice. Akhi.
Mental health wise. Think about when you pick your head up from sujood. How does your head feel?
Like,
Subhanallah.
we'll leave it like that, man. I'm still thinking about a lot of the things that one was saying. But yeah, man, wallahi, I think it's a field that needs a lot more attention and a lot more, maybe, I don't even know what the word for it is, but definitely a lot more work put in preventative wise, and at the same time just helping people come out of it and telling them more of the success stories, because you're the first person, I think, I don't have anyone else that said they've gone through that, come out and they're living a very successful life, married, kids, you know, and I think we need more of that to take away the stigma.
100%.
That's what it is. It's similar to being on road. Yes, I've been on road. So what? I've come out of that. Do you get what I mean? It's just things happen.
Don't downplay that, my brother. That's not an easy journey.
No,
Don't
but I'm
downplay
saying,
that.
no,
Don't
100%.
downplay that, my brother.
It's not an easy journey.
No, that transition's not easy.
To a lot
my
of
brother.
people think once you're in that life, that's it.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah, but alhamdulillah, you made that out.
No,
and
100%.
you can't downplay what you've gone through, my brother. Because that was your test and that's your battle. You got to remember, everything's subject to the person. You know, everyone's patience and tolerance level is different, and Allah will give everyone their own battles for their own reasons. You know, so don't downplay your journey, my brother.
100%. I had my imam, mashallah. He was my support sheikh.
Allah Mubarak.
I've got the trauma from it.
Like that, yeah. All right, man. And with that, we'll finish, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair for everyone that's watching. And inshallah, we'll catch everyone in the next one. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.